Can a battery-powered pressure washer actually foam? Hi, I'm Nick. This is Nick at Night. I've had this Ego pressure washer now for about a year, and I have a couple of my favorite car wash soaps, and I'm gonna test this foam cannon and this pressure washer. Of course, we have the Quiver foam cannon. Never leave home without it. I'm gonna test these soaps with this combination of pressure washer and foam cannon just to show you what you can get out of the Ego pressure washer, what you can't. Is this a good buy, or is it just kind of a pass? I had a friend reach out to me recently and ask, hey, you have the Ego cordless pressure washer, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, well, should I get it? And it was a complicated question to answer for me. Because while it's done a great job for me, now that I'm home-based, I'm kind of missing that steady, amazing blast of water from your pressure washer that you get versus a battery power. I'm gonna show you that in this video. Caveat here, I'm not Josh V, I'm not Matt Mormon, I'm not one of these pressure washer gurus, okay? That's not who I am. I just know what it feels like to use it. And if I like it, and if it helps me clean the car, it's a plus for me. So we're gonna start with All Clean and Incredible Suds. I actually put All Clean in here straight. Kind of silly, it was from the last video where I cleaned a garbage can. If you're not watching the Nick at Night podcast every Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, what are you doing? We did the video last week. We do a premiere every Sunday evening, so join us. But I had All Clean full strength in here, which Ivan tells me is actually 10-to-1. So a little bit of Incredible Suds in there, essentially a 10-to-1 dilution, stronger than we recommend. We recommend 15-to-1. But I just want to try it on these wheels here with the battery-powered pressure washer. I want to show you what it sounds like. I want to show you how it performs with the battery connected to a bucket. Right now, what I've got here is the Ego pressure washer into a bucket with battery power. So it's gonna perform a little different than if you had this connected to a hose and it was an electric pressure washer, right? The question is, does it foam? That's what we wanna know. Does it foam? Let's check it out. We're gonna do a little bit out of the bucket, and then we're gonna swap chemicals. We're gonna do Decon soap and DIY Detail Incredible Suds. This is from Garage Therapy. We're gonna do panel by panel, one with the hose, one connected to the bucket, and we're just gonna see how long it takes for the pressure washer to start going, what does the foam look like, and generally as we do this, I'll share my impressions over the last year. I bought this to do mobile detailing. It does work for that very well. Does it work well enough? That's the answer that we wanna get to in this video, so stay tuned, and let's get to All Clean, 10-to-1 dilution, a little too strong, but we have the Incredible Suds in there. We just wanna see how it foams on these wheels. All right, y'all, I hope you don't mind me wearing these Meta Ray-Ban glasses. I'm trying to capture shots for you of how kind of nasty this paint looks. And as we go around the vehicle, there's just like a lot of things that could be water spots. I don't know if this vehicle's garaged. I believe it's a 2018 Subaru Forester, but it just looks like there's a lot of stuff on the paint that may or may not come off. I hate to touch it, obviously it's bad wash etiquette, but the whole windshield looks like it's just been covered in chemicals and grime. Lots of nasty bug guts we're gonna wanna take care of. You can see this nasty bug gut on the hood. So there's just a lot to do here, but I wanna show you what the foaming looks like, obviously, as we go about washing this car. Quick spritz of iron remover here. Quick spritz of iron remover here, just to get the pre-treat action going. Now let's look at the Ego pressure washer. So I've put the 5-amp-hour battery in here because I've been told, and I think it's true, that the higher amperage battery you use, the better the performance you get. So I have two 4-amp-hour batteries and I got a 5-amp-hour battery. I want you to be the judge because this is how much it cost me last year when I bought it, and this is how much it costs now on Amazon. It's a significant financial investment, so it's like, do you want to do this or not? Please stay tuned and watch because I'm going to show you the pros and cons as we go. So I can go ahead and turn it on. And you can hear it. It's trying to draw through this hose, which I've weighted down with like a pressure washer wand piece and blue tape. It's not very fancy. But there's a filter at the end of this hose. So if you were like at the lake and you wanted to pressure wash it off, it filters out the sediment. So if you see some sediment in there, we're not necessarily worried about that, although I could clean this bucket out. That would be a good move. Okay, so we're just gonna turn this on. You've got 3 speeds. I like to put it on the 3rd speed, turbo. See, we're still waiting. We're still waiting. I do see water trickling. Oh, there it is. Okay, so there's some foam. It might be coming out a little runnier out of this pressure washer. It could just be my wacky dilution, because I'm almost out of my all clean, straight in the foam cannon with little incredible suds. So you get the nice creamsicle look. A little runnier there. Again, it could be the foam cannon. It could be this wacky mixture of just straight up all clean in here. I'm gonna rinse this off because I don't wanna take any chances on these wheels, and then we'll get to our other tests. So it's got these little handy spots for tips. I've got the Keeve nozzle here. I have a turbo nozzle right there. I'm just gonna reach for this, which actually came with the Ego, the 25-degree nozzle. We'll do a quick rinse. So far that was pulling water pretty well. We only use that much for the wheels, for the foaming. Let's see what it takes to rinse them off. That was really rapid, responsive with the pressure washer. So once it gets a good connection, like good suction up into the pressure washer, you're good. So what I recommend is like continuing to put water in the same bucket, not trying to switch buckets out. And again, having this weight on here has actually really helped me just keep the pressure going. Once you disrupt that connection, it takes a long time for the water to kind of suction into this hose again. I know these are not the best technical explanations, but just once you have this connection, like you can hear it. I'll just pull the trigger, and we've got a working pressure washer. So in that way, it works really great. Okay, now let's move on to Incredible Suds and Garage Therapy Decon shampoo with the hose, with the bucket. See what we think. Okay, again, the Quiver foam cannon here. I've got Incredible Suds, which I think stupidly let spill in my last video. So I apologize to the people there. It was not intentional. This is my last bottle of Incredible Suds. That's why I was gonna use Garage Therapy Decon shampoo too, is just, let's kinda, I don't know, just have fun with it. So, you know I like to glug glug. That's what I'm gonna put in here. I don't think there's much left in there. I could put the rest over in my wheel bucket just to add a little more cleaning power. And then I'm done with this Incredible Suds. So we'll do Incredible Suds first, then Garage Therapy Decon shampoo. We're gonna stick with just battery powered for now, drawing from the bucket because we haven't had to reconnect anything yet. So we'll just do that now, and then we'll do with the hose on this panel for Incredible Suds. So if it's been a while, sometimes this pressure washer turns off. Obviously it hasn't been that long, but I'll make sure it's back on. It's obviously connected to water. I've jiggled it around a little bit, so I don't know if it's still gonna perform. We've got Incredible Suds here for the front fender with the battery and a bucket. I mean, that's still Incredible Suds, right? So does it foam? Obviously the answer is yes. Like, you can get great suds out of your foam cannon even with, you know, just having that bucket of water. And that's why I love this in a garage in the wintertime when I don't have access to water, or as a mobile detailer, you just gotta figure out what your water source is. But you can get great suds mobile with this pressure washer. Battery powered, it's really incredible. So far from when I started and we were trying with this battery powered similar unit, and I got no PSI, I got nothing out of this little wand. I don't know who made it, maybe Works, WRX or something, but it just didn't give me what I was dreaming of, and this pretty much does. So quick recap, we've connected to the hose, we've turned the hose on now. I'm gonna turn this on. You can just see all the water and like the pressure starting to build in the hose. You can let Incredible Suds dwell and even dry on the paint, not a big concern or deal. Now we're connected to the hose. Is there a difference? Here's the deal, to me there absolutely is a difference. I think once it got going and started cranking, you just see how much thicker this foam is. I mean, that was perfectly acceptably thick over there, but here it is just dropping, dripping, clinging, cleaning, right? With this first foam, we wanna use the foam rinse foam method. Foam, it will emulsify the grit and safely bring it down the surface. Then we're gonna rinse this off, then we're gonna foam again for more lubrication, and that's when we do that contact wash. That's when we want to get rid of all that traffic film. So agitation is always going to be a big deal. I don't care what anyone says, I'm not into the touchless method. Agitation is a safer clean and a more thorough clean. Was this better foam? Yes. I mean, just look at the power of this cling. But that was great too. If you're just a foam addict and this is what you have, you don't have access to water, definitely consider the battery powered aspect with a bucket wherever you want to wash your vehicle, because that was perfectly acceptable. A lot of people ask me like, how long does the battery last? Like again, I'm getting weird battery issues with this 5 amp hour, but usually I can get over like the wash stage with one battery with the 5 amp hour. So like that's a foam rinse foam, decontamination, water spot remover, the whole 9 yards. I can do that with one battery, and if I don't, I've got the two Ego battery chargers over there, so I'm always charging something. And the 4 amp hour does work pretty good because this is what we're using here, and you can see what you're getting out of the foam. That's from the 4 amp hour battery. Okay, now I've got the pressure washer nozzle on. Let's go ahead and rinse both panels. Always point your tip away from the car because you never know when this thing's gonna fly off. This is the initial safety check. I do feel like it just gives me a little more oomph with the water from the hose. I don't know what oomph is technically supposed to be called. Is it GPM? Is it flow rate? I don't know, guys. I don't know. I just know when I like something. And this in my hand, I think this is the Tutu Luck gun off Amazon or something. Cars with Keith, shout out to you for recommending it back in the day. I'm very happy with this setup. It's worth noting that I am now almost at the bottom of my bucket. So that's how much water I have left. Not a whole lot. So that did what it did, right? So usually I'm gonna tell people, how much water do I need to do a wash with this Ego pressure washer? I would plan on 10 gallons. And then if you don't need it all, you're good. But I mean, if you're doing a foam rinse foam and you're doing Decon, you might need more than 10 gallons. But 10 gallons for a regular wash is about all you need. So it's kind of crazy, but you could get 10 distilled gallons from Walmart or whatever if you want to pay all that money for it. Or you could just do this at home in your garage, or just go to your sink or your tub, right? And you fill up the buckets there. That's what I did all winter long. Kind of a pain, so it's just so nice to have that steady flow of water. The most annoying thing about this is refilling buckets. So if you have a big water tank that you're working with, that would be ideal. Or whatever way you'd have your water, that would just be really helpful, because I'm always swapping buckets and running out of water. And then the other thing I would say is just, having at least 3 batteries, I think. Because I think 2 might not be enough. I like 3, because then if I'm lazy and I forget to recharge one or whatever, like 3 just feels like a nice comfort zone. And now that 5 amp hour one's getting weird. So I still have 2 4 amp hour batteries. And I did that through buying the leaf blower, because I think their leaf blowers usually come with 2 batteries, so it's kind of a good deal for them. You're always gonna get a better deal on these Ego batteries if you just buy a toy. So that's what I did. I got the vacuum, which we could do another chat on later. But you saw a difference in foam there. So let's go over here, try Garage Therapy, and just see if there's a difference. Garage Therapy 0 Decon shampoo, cleanse it says. And I quite like this. Eddie told me you gotta try this shampoo, and man, I like to glug things, as you guys know. I don't even know if that's enough. Is that enough? There we go. Decon soap has a strong fragrance, but it's not overpowering. It's like a combination of clean and heavy hitter, and it's pleasant to the nose, and you just know you got a heavy hitter here, so we're gonna get it on the paint, we're gonna let it dwell, we're gonna rinse it off. We just don't wanna let it sit there and dry on the paint. So we're actually still plugged into the hose. I'm not gonna go undo it to stay in the same order. So we did obviously no hose, we did bucket, and we did hose. This will be hose again. Just kind of listen for the response, see what this foam looks like out of this foam cannon. And again, we're getting amazing, thick, luxurious, just like so fun foam, like we had the Incredible Suds, now the Decon soap. With the hose, honestly, this pressure washer is pretty great. I really don't have many complaints, except for the battery issue with that 5 amp hour. It does get a little annoying swapping out batteries, I'm not gonna lie. That is one real thing. But outside of that, it's been a real joy to use. It's been a real pleasure to use. I don't feel like I need more PSI on this thing. It's a 2100 PSI, 1.2 gallon per minute machine. And it does for car detailing what you need. I consider getting the bigger cordless one that I think takes 2 batteries, This has been all that I've needed to do occasional mobile details, occasional details at home, and take care of my own fleet. If I needed it, this would have plenty of like longevity and cleaning power and all the things you want to do a weekly wash on your car. I'm super convinced of that. All right, we're gonna disconnect the hose and we're gonna do this with the battery and a bucket of water. So I've turned on the battery now. Let's see how long it takes to collect the water out of this bucket. This can be incredibly frustrating. I want to just try to take this off and show you what this nozzle looks like. I don't even know where I got that other nozzle, but I prefer this one that came with the pressure washer. So Ego thinks this stuff out. Like, the tip is great, the pressure washer works great. Again, I prefer it with a hose, but I'm gonna turn this hose off and then I'm gonna come back, foam this out of the bucket. And finally, let's foam from the bucket with the foam can in Garage Therapy. Let's listen to how long it takes to start. Like, does it feel different than the hose or are we good either way? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that still foams great. That still foams great. Where am I at with the battery on my pressure washer? We've lost one little green portion of that circle. And so it's not horrible. You know, you can get around with maybe one, maybe two batteries, depending on the life cycle of your batteries. And I'm sure the more batteries you have and the less you use them, the better it is. I think I've put a lot of work on that 5 amp hour battery, but in less than a year, for it to be faltering like that, it's pretty disappointing because you know how much those cost. Look, this thing foams. I'm gonna wash the rest of this vehicle. I'm gonna make sure this gets taken care of. It's for his wife. And we gotta, you know, happy wife, happy life. If you want any of the products you saw in this video, I tried not to bombard you with it. There's a promo code that you can save 10% off anything you order from thehouseofrags.com. That promo code is Nick at Night. It's one word, Nick at Night. Save 10%. 10% on your order. Helps me and the podcast out. Maybe I could make more interesting content. You know, buy fun toys to review on this channel. Leave a comment on what you want to see next on Nick at Night, and you should probably click on this video right here. Oh, and by the way, when I'm off camera, you better believe I'm getting rid of this bucket and we're going all from the hose. I just prefer it that way.